What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker podcast. I'm Nick Baker. Across from me, Shane Good.
Nick Baker, back to you.
And we are here to talk to you about some video games. But first thing is first, of course, we need to tell you about what we've been playing. So what's that? What have you been playing over there?
All right, dude. Here's the. I'm gonna give it to you cut and dry.
All right.
PoE, PoE, and PoE.
PoE, Path of Exiles. So you said before that it's the Delirium update or Delirium event.
Yo, Delirium League, close enough. Same shit. Right. Goes on for like 2 to 3 months usually.
So many uses of the word league in PC games.
You know, yeah, you're kind of right now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
A lot of leagues, dude. A lot of leagues.
Love it.
But yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Since yesterday, I'm a little more positive on it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I rebuilt my character.
So what he means is that we recorded the podcast again, and the audio just did not work. So here we are again. We're gonna try this one more time. Honestly, it feels good to have a little bit of a rehearsal under the belt. You know?
Yeah, not a little buffer, dude. A little buffer.
All right, so Path of Exiles. Let's see.
Yeah, Path of Exiles. I mean, cut the long story short, I re-rolled my characters from yesterday because I was just not having a great time yesterday.
Right.
I was fucking dying nonstop. Right. I had like so Path of Exile actually has a death counter.
Oh.
So, believe it or not, I didn't have the highest deaths in my group, but I had like 312 deaths. Oof. The highest deaths in my group was somebody who was playing a full damage one-shot miner. So essentially, he had like anything looked at him and he died. It didn't matter what it was. His character's goal was kill everything before it can see me. So he had 612 deaths. In, I think, like 30 hours of the game, of like the season being out, he had like 612 deaths.
How do you even have time to die that much?
Well, what ends up happening is, so like there's bosses and there's a door at the boss. And every time you go through the door, you go, it kind of like makes it your checkpoint. Okay. So like you go through the door, the boss whacks you before you can do anything. And then you spawn at the door.
So the plan of action is probably to like send a tank in there first. No.
Most of us like
just meat shields.
we play like a lot of times like we're all in a Discord together. There's like 10 of us in a Discord together, but a lot of times we play by ourselves. So like we're just talking and like, you know, conversing while we're playing kind of keeps you busy.
Yeah. I mean, those games are naturally like that. Just like battle royale games, you get in there and you're like, let's chit chat, and we don't really care about winning right now. Yeah,
exactly. It happens. So long story short, you get doing that, and then you know, like 33 deaths later in a boss because you got insta killed 5 times in a row, like walking through the door, and then like the mechanic just like you don't have the resistances to fight it anyways. You'll hear like in the middle of a conversation, somebody will be like, "Motherfucker," and then somebody would be like, "You want me to go kill that boss for you?" Yeah, can you kill the boss for me?
Please, just stop my frustration.
Yeah, so that's what happens.
All right, so that's Path of Exile.
Yeah, that's Path of Exile. That's it. That's Path of Exile in a nutshell, to be honest. But I mean, I feel like I don't know. Maybe I know. Maybe I don't. I feel like you've been playing maybe a game with some guns.
Oh yeah, dude. I exclusively games with guns right now. I don't know what that's all about. I gave up on Bloodborne, and even there's a gun in that too. So I guess I haven't given up. You know, it just beat me down for a bit, and I've kind of taken a break. But I'll get back to it eventually. But I am playing 2 gun games right now. One we'll talk about after this as part of the big topics. But the first one, of course, being Division 2 Warlords of New York, and it is awesome. Yeah, just loving the game. It's the progression feels way more there, you know, because the end game of the Division, you're just practically not really going anywhere. You're kind of grinding your gears, trying to get a better gear score, this, that, and the other thing. And once you cap that, it's pretty much you're doing end game stuff just for the fun of it, just to play around with the gunplay, try to really cap out your stats. But now that they've raised the level cap whole 10 levels, there's actually some progression there again. You get you get 10 more levels to go through. You get a whole new city to fuck around in. It's a different part of New York than you were in before in the first game, so it's not like one for one, but you get the vibes of, oh shit, we're back in Manhattan, we're here again. And man, it's so good. The vibe of everything just really brings you back to playing the First Division game, but it's brighter and more dangerous feeling because there's not so much quiet and snow around. Just enemies everywhere. There's fog of war, so you have to go explore everything, and there are these little investigation nodes that you pick up along the way that eventually open up more of the map to fast travel around to your safe houses and whatever. But yeah, man, I'm loving the game, and it's just a really good switch off for what we're going to talk about in a second, Call of Duty. Just the high intensity of Call of Duty is so much so that when I come back to the Division, it almost feels relaxing. Like, I'm just popping heads, going
like
around.
a chill shooter.
You get some gear, you pull that together, and like there are some hard parts, but it's never like as frustrating as getting down to the second squad and you just get popped from some guy parachuting down on you. But without further ado, let's get into the big topics of the week and talk about our experience with the new Battle Royale Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So what do you think? Because you had a little bit less of experience with this than I have, but I'm fucking loving it, so I have a lot to say.
That's fair. I played a couple rounds with you guys, and I played a couple rounds with somebody else. I really enjoyed it. I didn't feel like the game was particularly slow because of how many times people because there's a chance for people to come back. Essentially 50% of the people will come back,
right? And
there's 150 people with such a sizable map. I feel like if you want to fight, there's always a fight you can find.
Oh yeah.
And I, with a fight that you can kind of always gravitate to a fight. One thing that I did think about and kind of wanted to mention was I didn't feel like in most of those fights I was really getting third-partied.
Yeah.
I felt like it's very spread out.
I think that has a lot to do with the environmental little notes that they give you where enemies show up on the radar when they fire their weapons, so you can kind of see them, unless I think there's a perk that you can get where that doesn't happen, but most of the time people aren't at that level yet, so you can kind of see them before they get too close.
Yeah.
And if you're coming in on a team and you have the jump on them, it's not always going to be victory for you. You're not always going to just completely trash them, but most of the time you have that object of surprise, and it usually goes in your benefit, and if anybody else comes down on you, it's pretty easy to get back to fighting shape when you take all their stuff, you loot all their ammo pretty quickly, you can just run over it. Fuck you, Firestorm.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, in a lot of ways, it's just a way better Firestorm.
I completely agree. The pooping loot out on the ground.
And it's the very same.
Yeah.
Same as Battlefield, but the thing about it is it's all recognizable, and it's not just like a mishmash of things, and when you run over certain types of loot, it'll instantly be absorbed, like ammo.
And shields.
But if you're looking to grab a specific gun, you can kind of really contextualize that, get to the guns that you really want to pick up, and do so pretty easily, quickly, so you can get back into the fight.
100%.
And man, yeah, like you said, the Gulag portion of the game is one of my favorite new additions to any battle royale, where when you go down, you have an opportunity to win a 1v1 match in a tiny cell, which you essentially just get captured when you die in the game. So you go to this prison, and then you can fight your way out, or your teammates can buy you out through the buy program. There are these little buy boxes all slewed across the map, and you can get your buddies back. But man, the Gulag is so much fun. I've gotten so many kills in this, and it's just so intense. When you get in there, you're like, all right, I can get back. I can help my teammates.
Yeah.
You hear over the mic, one of your teammates went down. You're like, oh fuck, I gotta get back. And you pop that guy. You get back in. You drop down. You get your shields, and guns back. You get back in the fight. It just feels so fluid and visceral. Like you feel everything about it. And the parachuting is something that just should be implemented in every battle royale game. Like the ability to jump off of a building and not immediately die when you hit the ground, like Apex, like Fortnite. You know, these games know what they're doing with the different scales of height and being able to surprise your enemies. But the way that COD does it now with the parachuting, it feels a little less, jump scary when you get down on people, but you can really use it as a tactical advantage to get down on somebody that just entered a building. You saw them, you come around and you get in that same door that they just went inside, get behind them, pop them. You notice if there's teammates left, if he goes down instantly, you run around the house, try to take out their buddies or whatever, and man, it's just a hell of a time. I've been having so much fun with it.
It truly is. I do, just to add, I like the ability to do parachuting, and I think that the speed at which you parachute at is actually like one of the successes that they have in parachuting, because I feel like if you see the person parachuting at you, you have the advantage on the person parachuting, because you can track them in the air, and I feel like the distance that they glide down is slow enough where most people can, even if you're not an amazing shot, most people can really target that down.
Yeah, and the sounds are one of the best. If you play any of these games, I recommend playing them with a headset, because the sound design in these new Battle Royale games is so good.
Yeah.
The parachute sound, you can tell that it's a parachute when somebody's above you. Like, oh, fuck, somebody's coming down on me. And you're looking around on the radar, is that my buddy? And like, oh God, it's just James. Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, and he hit the ground.
Oh, no, he's dead. I guess you do actually have to deploy your parachute. Sorry, buddy.
That was so funny.
Oh, man. But yeah, I think that we kind of hit the nose on Call of Duty Battle Royale. But one thing I did want to mention is that it's super dope that we finally have a Battle Royale that can consistently hold 150 players.
Yep.
Because I feel like it just fills out that game in a way that a lot of Battle Royale games, when you land, there's either nobody around you or a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
And right now it just feels like there's a good amount of people wherever you go.
Yep.
Like, you can find the dead zones if you're really looking to just learn the mechanics, learn looting and whatnot, and there are obviously hot zones as well. But when you go around, you kind of want a few people around there so that you can, they're kind of like loot vacuums. They get all their stuff up, you kill them, you take all their shit, and you move on. That's how I like to think about it. But man, yeah, ton of fun. So let's move on real quick to Neo 2, which was released this week. This is our second big topic of the week. I did not play Neo 1.
Correct.
Neo 2 has my interest because of its new character creator,
yes,
which I love doing in games. It's one of my favorite things about like the Fallout series or Skyrim, any of those that you can just kind of customize your own, or Mass Effect, and make your character your own. Mass Effect's a great example of a character creator that also implements like a story character that is the story's driven around you, even though your character is created. You're a part of that world no matter what. So you played and beat the first one.
I did. I played and beat the first one. This one, obviously, character creation is a big draw for people.
Right. I'm
one of those, like, just absolute monsters. I usually just hit random 3 times, and whatever I get.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's a way to do it, too. And it's almost like a gamble that way. You kind of get this crazy-looking character. Maybe he has an afro, and he's this white guy with a pick in his hair, and he has like purple and green eyes. They're like, oh, well, all right, here we go. Funky bro. We're going to get to the end of this horrible journey.
I totally name my characters based off of what I think they look like their name should be, which is like kind of the fun part when you randomize a character like that.
You find the fun in a game that has a good character creator, because it's just, it's fun and goofy shit to see like some weird character in the place of some heroic legendary hero,
Immediately just brings me back to that Saints Row, where it's just like the fucking craziest characters ever.
You have like a 7-foot tall, like thin man looking guy, and he's talking like a thug from like East London or something.
It's so good. But anyways, I like, obviously the graphics are very pretty. Graphics are really pretty. I actually have watched more gameplay since we recorded.
Right. Good thing about rehearsals is you can go back and learn some more things about the things you really didn't know anything about.
Damn straight.
When you started the podcast before.
So yeah, I really like the graphics. I think that the shadows in the first game were really good, and like the mirroring that they had, and like the reflections of the first game were really good, and this one topped that even more. I think I'm excited that they didn't change the mechanics of like how to get better weapons and stuff like that, which is cool. I mean, it's a Dark Souls, but not a Dark Souls clone, with just like that extra mechanic of like the stances.
Right, and I think that is what elevates it above other Dark Souls likes, and even Dark Souls itself. Just different variations of how you can fight even with just one weapon.
Yeah. So,
but now that 2 is out, I'm interested in going back to 1 because it was a free PS Plus game. I downloaded that, so I'll probably try out 1 eventually. Whether or not I stick with it and go back to Bloodborne or drop Bloodborne and stick with Neo is yet to be seen.
I will say I haven't played Bloodborne. However, I like the mechanics of Neo more. I've seen Bloodborne played, and the mechanics of Neo, they seem a little tedious to learn, but they really allow you to like play to your own strengths, but also like you can play the game to your own difficulty in some ways. Like if you want to fight only in one style, like you can do that. It just might make the game harder.
Right.
And like people do that, so it's kind of like it's something fun to do. There's actually speed runs of beating the entire game on like one stance, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
I can see where there's probably some exploits where if you use like a stance on one enemy, it's like it's easier to take down this enemy in this stance, or it's easier to take this enemy down in like a tall stance, or you're just able to block or avoid quicker. So it does bring to light a few more really cool gameplay aspects in that way, which of course interests me because Bloodborne is
it's like dodge simulator, right?
There's a lot of dodging, a lot of rolling, similar to Dark Souls, but there is a counter system that's at play in the game where you use your secondary, your Quicksilver weapon, to take advantage of like open spots in enemies. But the thing about it is they don't necessarily give you like a Q, like a shine or something like you would imagine. Jedi Fallen Order, there was always a little bit of a tell when the enemy was able to be countered, but that's not in Bloodborne. You have to figure it all out from the get-go, and the first time I did it, I was like, whoa, okay, so what else is this game hiding from me? Because I really need to figure this out. Like, one of the big axe chopper guys in the beginning, you'll know what I'm talking about if you play the game. He just comes down and he's so fast and brutal. He hits you and it's almost game over if you don't dodge out of the way and heal up real quick. And sometimes that's not even going to work. But when he comes down on you, there's a split second mid-swing that if you hit him with your Quicksilver weapon, he'll completely just drop to his knees, and you can then perform like a almost coup de grace attack on him, which takes down almost all of his health.
Oh, damn.
And it's so helpful, but it's really hard to do, especially when there's more than one. Oh, that's a nightmare. But Neo, to me, seems like it's more of like the skill side of that rather than like the lucky counter, that you'll get from Bloodborne, that where it's very learnable.
Yeah,
the
100%.
Things that you can do in Neo, whereas in Bloodborne, there's a skill cap there for sure, that where you can figure everything out and you can really get it timed down, but it's really sometimes you're just gambling for gambling's sake.
That's fair. I mean, I think that with Neo, once you learn the stances, you learn what stances are strong against what weapons. And once you start to learn what weapons your enemies are using, you can then decide what stances you need to counter them with.
Right.
So, like, it's definitely a very learnable system. But yeah. What do we got next on this chopping block?
So next on the chopping block, this is one that I'll probably just go over briefly just because neither of us played the original, but I was very much interested in the E3 gameplay, and I do plan on going into this when I get access to it because I don't have an Xbox. Ori and the Will of the Wisps just came out this week, and it looks really great. There are a lot of people out there saying that it runs pretty poorly at this point. I don't know if a patch has been out since then that has fixed some of these problems, but a lot of the reviews say that there's a lot of hitching in and out of menus and maps. There's a lot of actual in-game just bugs where things will not show up that are supposed to show up. Enemies won't be there, and then they'll pop up and damage you, and it just makes things really, really unfun for people trying to play the game. But other than that, people say that the game is beautiful. People that haven't had those problems say that the game is really fluid and fun. The boss fights, I guess, are really, really challenging. So that's something to look forward to. The one thing that I heard a lot about the first game is that it wasn't as challenging as it could have been in the way of, like, if the game ran the way it should have, like, things aren't necessarily going to kill you every time. There are ways to get around things pretty easily. But this one seems to have fixed those problems and a lot of errors with, like, UI and the combat system I hear is leagues better. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base on it because it looks like a sick game. It came out this week. It's Xbox exclusive, which we don't usually cover much on this show because there are any.
Yeah, we don't play Xbox.
What, you thought I wasn't going to throw shade? But yeah, so that's Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Hopefully that comes over to Switch just like its predecessor did, and we can play it there because I don't have an Xbox.
I mean, I do have an Xbox.
The thing is they were saying it had problems on the Xbox One X, so I don't know if that thing would just burst into flames.
I don't think I've turned that on since I got it.
It doesn't even look like an Xbox anymore to me.
It doesn't.
Like, if you took the symbol off the front, I'd be like, what the is that a VCR?
Is that a VCR?
Literally, though.
Yeah, it does kind of look like a VCR. You're right. I don't even think you can buy VCRs anymore.
No way. Maybe, like, bootleg ones.
Dude, I asked, like, I asked somebody that I skate with who's, like, he's in high school. He's kind of at the skate park.
Oh, no.
So, like, and I was talking about VCRs with my buddy Kevin because we were talking about.
You probably thought you were talking about, like, an STD or something.
Dude, he had no idea.
You alright? You need to get checked. Like,
we were talking about watching, like, The Land Before Time on VHS when we were kids.
Yeah. Damn.
And he was like, "What's a VHS?" And I was like, "Oh, it hurts
right in my elderly heart.
It hurts so hard."
Damn.
But,
so yeah, all right. So the next thing on our list, Lego. Should we even? Yeah. Lego tweeted out this week about Super Mario Lego, either a set, a game, or something. This more information probably came out since yesterday. But no, okay, good. So we're still in the clear here.
We're not 20 minutes late this time.
Yeah, I know. So some screenshots, if you want to say that, some images of something in the works as far as Lego Super Mario have been tweeted out by the Lego official account on Twitter, and it's got people stirring up, got people really excited about the possibilities of maybe a Lego Super Mario game or a Lego Super Mario set. So I just wanted to throw it on here because I'm a big fan of Lego and Mario, and when those things come together, it's gonna be fucking awesome.
I said it last time, I'll say it this time. I really hope that it's a Lego Mario game because the humor that Lego brings with every game that they produce is just, it's no matter what age you are, it's funny.
Right. It's just like going to, like, a Disney movie or, like, seeing a Pixar movie. It's like an adult can enjoy this and a child can enjoy this and they can enjoy it together. Yeah. And that's the best thing about Nintendo games is most of the time that's what, like, the stake that they're driving into the ground is family friendly shit that's just fun to play. So even if it's just a set, like, I'm totally into that. I think it's gonna be, the imagery of it all is gonna be perfect because Nintendo's behind it and really rarely misstep with things like this. So
For
really,
sure.
really cool little tidbit to throw in there. But the last thing here is actually happening tomorrow now. So Microsoft is hosting a series of live streams focusing on what they call the new chapter in gaming, the xCloud and the Xbox Series X line of Xboxes. So what my question to you is, what do you think is actually going to be talked about here? Is it just going to be strictly like numbers based, like what things are going to cost, or is it going to be similar to like an E3 presentation where they're like, hey, here's some games, here's what to expect on our system? Like,
I think we're gonna get a little bit of E3 treatment, where it's gonna be a little bit of games. Like, I don't think they would host a conference without, especially not having E3 now. Like, I don't think they'd host it without kind of having a little bit of games in there. I don't think we'll get like 60 minutes straight of like 60 indie games with 13 big releases. You know, like, I don't think we'll get that.
right.
But I think we'll get a little bit of games, a little bit of like what to expect. They might have like, maybe they'll have some small trailers. Maybe Vin Diesel will come on and be completely clueless again.
Yeah. I mean, he looked shredded. So.
Dude, he was fucking dope. I love Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
But if you listen to this,
yeah, come out of the podcast.
yeah, dude, come out of the podcast.
You got to be one of those 18, right?
But anyways, I think
sadness sets in. But yeah,
I think that we'll get a little bit of that. This is my prediction. I don't think we will get any real pricing on the console. And the reason why I say I don't think we'll get any real pricing is because I think that consoles are going to get pushed back at this point.
right.
And where I think they're going to get pushed back, I think that with new production, there might be extra costs. This might have added a little bit more of a cost. It might, especially where now, like, even media-wise, it's going to add a cost. If a delay happens, you now have to rebrand all of the branding that you did.
Right.
And
if any of that stuff was completed, you have to go back to the drawing board. And
yeah,
another little layer I want to slather on here real quick is that E3 was canceled too.
Yes.
And this is one thing that we forgot to mention in the rehearsal that we now are mentioning now. But
what do you mean? This is it. It's the only time we've ever done this.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
This is off the fly, dude.
We totally didn't do this 6 times and forget to fucking save the podcast again. But yeah, so the E3 being canceled, I think really does. It doesn't mean a ton for the gaming industry as like a whole, because E3 was kind of on its last legs anyway. But I think the reason that it was canceled is more of the problem, like the coronavirus and all the things that it's affected. I think that now we're seeing it more and more. It's halting show development, it's halting like gatherings of large people. So anything like that, like any kind of production company that's going in and building like these consoles or whatever, I think that those things have hit a really harsh speed bump.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
It could, like you said, push these consoles out to either early 2021 or, I mean, it's hard to really fathom what's actually going on there, like how much work has already been done, because we're just 2 idiots here. But the thing about it is you can kind of guess in a way just based on things that are happening to other similar media companies. And it wouldn't be the end of the world, and I think that more people should be on board with the pushing back of these things, because when this stuff is so crunched into such a limited time frame, and especially with all these sicknesses and things that we really should be trying to avoid, I think it's unfair to expect like, all right, we should still have the same plan that we had before. It shouldn't be interrupted at all for us gamers here. I want to take like a humble approach to the whole thing and be like, hey, it's not a big deal if things are pushed back. It's not a big deal that games are delayed because of all this, because lives are at stake.
Exactly. And honestly, I mean, it brings us back to a conversation we had a while back, which was when you rush development for something, like you lose pieces of the development that you didn't like you would have had. So like if you rush a game, like the game's probably gonna feel rushed, especially like I mean the Pokemon game,
Right.
the new Pokemon games, I mean, Paul felt like there was no end game at all because they felt like they rushed that end piece altogether.
There are arguments out there you could make. They're just trying to sell the end game with DLC, which is kind of true. It's definitely, it feels like that.
Yeah.
But you can kind of imagine if a game feels like that, being rushed, and there wasn't really any foreseeable problems with the production of that game. It seemed pretty smooth to me. Just imagine what that's going to do to consoles. If you push a console out, and that's something that's going to have to last at least, like a year and a half or two before like a refresh or whatever, like a pro version of whatever you have out there, it's going to feel really bad to like get into the UI and have it be like hitchy, or things aren't going to load correctly, and you're just going to be really disappointed with the product. So if it means you get a wonderful console that's going to last you another 7-8 years, and it's going to feel really good, snappy, fast to play around with on launch day, I think that it's totally worth waiting.
Oh, I definitely agree. And I think that if it does get pushed back, we're also, it's not going to just be consoles. The reason why consoles specifically would get pushed back is mostly because of the DRAM memory boards. I talked about it before in China that just aren't getting produced. But the thing is, that board company produces boards for Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Samsung, like all of these big names. Even graphics cards are getting affected by the fact that they don't have the boards that need, like producing for like the Quattros and stuff like that that are coming out. So it's not just the console industry. And I think that on just kind of a flat note, a lot of people understand that like it just, there's not much you can do.
There are going to be the cynic assholes out there that are going to be like, I want it and I want it now, type of deal. But I think Microsoft really has to put their big boy pants on, because they're going to be the first ones to really talk after all of this has happened. So this live stream is going to be really important to see what the landscape of this is actually going to be like, how they're coming out, like what their message is for the people that are worried about delays or things not coming out quite the way or when they thought they were going to. But it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow.
It will.
So that is everything we have on the list, and we got through it in a nice healthy clip, I think.
I think so.
Nice good short episode. It's a moderate episode.
An average episode.
Yeah, feels good. So if you could, please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, comment if you like what we were talking about. If you don't like what we were talking about, give us some more things to talk about. Ask us questions. We'll ask you questions. We'll get back to you for sure. Look at our Facebook page. Like us there. We have our Instagram meme page or Instagram regular page. Get over there if you're on the meme page, please. There's like almost 600 people on that. I know you're out there. Just get over to our regular page, like us up, and show us that you care, because we care about you.
For sure.
And you know what? Stay healthy, because the coronavirus is out there. Wash your goddamn hands.
No licking mics.
Yeah. Well.
Peace.
Peace.